For this retro anime review, we're going to be looking at Legend of Lemnear from 1989. This OVA was directed by Kinji Yoshimoto, with character design by Satoshi Urushihara. Urushihara, who is one of Japan's most famous character designers, has one of the most distinct and recognizable styles when it comes to character design. If you're a fan of JRPGs, you may recognize his art from the Langrisser and Growlancer series, both of which are very solid and underrated JRPG series in my opinion. So if you like JRPGs and you haven't tried either of those out, I would recommend giving a try to either one. This OVA is a single 45-minute episode. It would later be adapted into a 3-volume manga in 1991 with the story written by Yoshimoto and art done by Urushihara. The duo of Yoshimoto and Urushihara would team up for several more manga and anime in the coming years, including Adron Shadow, Plastic Little, and Front Innocent. Plastic Little being one of my favorite 90s OVAs. It's a really charming and fun animation that I would recommend if you haven't seen it. And Front Innocent, interestingly enough, is probably one of the most high production value, well animated H animations that I've ever seen. So if you're looking for something a little more cultured, that might be a good choice for you. The story is about a young girl named Lemnear who sets out on a journey to get revenge on the people that destroyed her village when she was a child. Her village was destroyed by a wizard named Gardin, who attacked the village on his master Vuan's orders in order to abduct Lemnear's brother, who is believed to be the prophesied champion of silver. Lemnear has her confrontation with Gardin, and she is defeated and taken prisoner. In the dungeon, she meets an old mage who tells her that the true evil behind Gardin and Vuan is their master Barol, and that the prophesied champion of silver will turn the champion of bronze into the champion of gold, and together they will defeat Barol. After that, Lemnear infiltrates Vuan's harem in order to get close to him. Vuan has the power of mind control and he takes over Lemnear's mind for a short time, but then she breaks free and ends up defeating him. After this, Gardin tells Lemnear that Barol will challenge her and for her to come and meet him at his castle. When she arrives at the castle, she sees that her brother Mesh is there. She fights and defeats Gardin, who reveals that he is simply the arm of Barol, and that Barol himself is the legendary champion of gold. Lemnear finds out that her brother is in fact not the champion of silver, but the champion of bronze, and her herself is the champion of silver. Her and Mesh fight against Barol, and once she realizes the prophecy, she's able to awaken her powers, in which, according to the prophecy, she is able to transform Mesh into another champion of gold, and together they are able to defeat Barol. This OVA is one of the classic fantasy sword and sorcery OVAs. I really enjoy that genre of anime, and it's a shame we don't really see it very much anymore. If we do see a fantasy setting these days, it always seems like it's an isekai. So I do really miss this style of anime and seeing stuff like this OVA, the Wizardry OVA, or Record of Lodoss War. If you enjoy the fantasy setting a lot and like the type of story, then this is a really good OVA for you. If you aren't really into it, admittedly the story is not that great. It's a very standard fantasy story where you hit a lot of the typical tropes that you see very often in those stories, where the main character is a prophesied hero and they have to fight against the Dark Lord and their henchmen. Everything from the plot to the dialogue to the characters is very standard and basic for what you would expect from a sword and sorcery fantasy setting. The animation's probably the best part about the OVA. There's a lot of great looking fights and action sequences. Lemnear's fight with Gardin and the fight with Lemnear and Mesh against Barol in his dragon form are really great scenes that are some of the best animated of its era. I really love Urushihara's character design. I think the characters, especially Lemnear, look really great. I always think the characters on anything he works on always look awesome and always have pretty memorable, unique designs. Visually, this is one of the better OVAs of its era. I'm going to give this one 3.5 stars out of 5. It loses points for not having a very unique story. Of course, with a single episode OVA, it's hard to really develop characters and develop stories, so I give it a little bit of a pass, but it is very basic. I'm a little bit biased because I like the fantasy setting and really like the anime that explore that setting. So I do like this one a bit, even though the story is kind of basic. Visually, I think it's one of the better OVAs, and if you're into the fantasy setting or you just want to see a well-animated OVA, this is a good choice. That's going to be the end of this video. If you did enjoy it, please like the video. And I'm going to be trying to put out a video 1 time a week. I don't know if I'm going to be able to stick to that exactly, but it's going to be pretty close. So subscribe if you would like to see those. And thank you for watching.